Hello, welcome to Excellence in Breeding's Practical Lean course. This course is made up of 12 modules. The first is the Lean Overview. I am Teresa Heitman, and I do work with the Excellence in Breeding organization, and I will be your instructor for this course. This particular module is all video and then a short quiz at the end, but the rest of the modules will be much more hands-on learning experience and learning about tools and methods and practicing them on your own processes. Here we go. So the purpose of this course is to introduce continuous improvement, or what you'll many times see shortened to CI. And we want to help you apply CI to your daily work. The learning objectives for this particular module, there are 9 of them, so there are quite a few, and let's just take a couple of minutes to go over them. Experiential learning is very effective. We want you to understand that. We also want you to understand that continual improvement is the foundation of operational excellence. The Lean philosophy is a mindset and a way of thinking. Many times we look at the Lean methodology as a bunch of tools and methods, but it actually is the way that we think. Understand that Lean is a strategy for growth. As we free up resources, we can grow our organization. We'll go over the 5 principles of Lean. We'll look at the concepts of the Lean improvement methodology. We'll look at the Plan, Do, Study, Act, or PDSA cycle. And we will talk about the value of the incremental improvements as we continuously improve. We'll also explain non-value added versus value added activities and just introduce you to the 8 wastes. Just want to take a minute to talk about experiential learning. Experiential learning, we found over the years, is really the best way for humans to learn. Way back in 450 BC, you can see that Confucius had a quote: "Tell me and I will forget, show me and I will remember, involve me and I will understand." So what we want you to do is have experiences in using and practicing the tools and methods of the Lean continuous improvement methodology so that you really learn it and apply it. What is operational excellence? You may have asked yourself this. You may have seen on many organizations' strategy that operational excellence is their strategy. Well, what does that mean? How do we get there? The best definition of operational excellence that I've been able to find over the years is what you see here. Every employee can see the value of flow to the customer and fix that flow before it breaks down. In order to do that, that takes a lots of effort, right? And continuous improvement is part of reaching operational excellence. In fact, as you can see in this building frame, continuous improvement is the foundation to having operational excellence. So that's why we wanted to teach this course so that everyone could have good knowledge of continuous improvement, especially the Lean improvement methodology. So in order to reach operational excellence, which is a result, right, we must have continuous improvement as the foundation. Then there's also a number of pillars, as you can see, that are also very, very important to helping to get to operational excellence. We have to have strong leadership and teamwork. We have to have good change management systems. We have to have process capability and control over our processes. And we have to simply have the mindset of excellence. What is the philosophy of Lean? Actually, some people would say that Lean is a philosophy a philosophy of continuous improvement. It's a way of thinking, a mindset of continuous improvement. It's an improvement methodology that centers around respect for all people and developing people in your organization. We believe that the people that are doing the work are the best ones to design how the work gets done. Value is defined by the customer. All organizations exist to meet customer needs. So we need to understand, what does the customer value? What are their needs? Lean is a strategy for growth. Lean frees up resources so that they can be used and applied to create more value for customers. Quality is improved by taking waste out of the system. Quality is defined as meeting customer requirements. Teamwork is central to Lean. No one individual is smarter than a team. A culture of continuous improvement involves everybody every day. And that is what we're striving for when we say that we want to create a culture of continuous improvement. We want everybody thinking about it and taking action to make improvements every day. We focus on the process in Lean. Things are the way they are just because they got that way. We do have the ability to improve them and change them. Here also are a few what we call key Lean concepts. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on these today, as you'll be coming to realize this as we work through our other modules. But just a quick overview. A key Lean concept: maximize customer value. We want to meet the customer's needs as best as we can. We want to eliminate waste or non-value added activities. We want to get to one-piece flow. Well, when we have one-piece flow, we don't have any waste in our process, and we're making to the customer's demand. We respect and we develop people. That is key in Lean. We want to make our processes error-proof. We're human beings, and we make mistakes, but we also can figure out how to put stops and mistake proofing into our processes so that we can improve quality. We want to optimize the whole system, not just one process. If we just optimize a process without looking at how that process is integrated with the rest of the system, we might have what we call sub-optimization, where we improve one area, but we are not able to realize that improvement overall. And visual management. When we make things visible, we can see what is going on. So Lean is big on making things visible. As we look at the scientific method, and probably most of you have had some introduction to this, I think I had this in maybe 7th or 8th grade science class, but we talked about when we're doing experiments and we're trying to make improvements when we're doing science, right? There are 4 steps to that process, and it is an iterative process. PDSA cycle: plan, do, study, and act. We plan what we're going to do. We do it. Then we study the results. Do we get the results that we wanted? If so, let's act on it and let's implement it. Or if not, let's act on it and make changes. And when we do this over and over again, we continually make improvements. These may be small improvements. Actually, when one of the biggest benefits of the Lean improvement methodology is that we make small improvements and we continuously make small improvements, and that cumulative effect is very, very big. In fact, the cumulative effect of improvement is worth more than making a major management change and implementing an entirely new process all at once. Have you ever felt like this? I like this cartoon. It reminds me of a couple of stories, actually. The first one is, here's a guy standing over here with a better solution to moving a cart. He's got a new idea. But these guys, they don't want to implement his idea. I call that the not invented here syndrome. And I experienced this a number of times when you are working for a company or an organization that has recently maybe merged or purchased another organization. Many times it's difficult for those different groups of people to recognize that the new guys might have some more new ideas for us. And if we have the not invented here syndrome, we're not willing to implement their ideas. The other thing is people think that they're just flat out too busy to make a change. The other story that this reminds me of is when I was working in an organization that did plant breeding. They only had one production cycle a year. And so there were certain operations that didn't happen all the time, only when they were getting ready for their new production cycle. So each one of these activities maybe took 2 or 3 weeks. And rather than take the time to improve those activities and shorten up the time that they took, or they actually would just say, well, we only do this once a year, so it doesn't really matter. So they were too busy to take the time to take and make improvements. The world we have created is a product of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. A very profound quote by Albert Einstein. Lean is a system for developing a continual improvement way of thinking. Lean is unique as a management approach because it doesn't aim to tell people what to think or what to do, but how to think about things, So they come up with their own ideas, their own insights, and their own initiatives. It's empowering for people, and people want to make changes in their own work to reduce the non-value added. What really matters is the culture that you create. Lean is about engaging and developing people. It requires a culture based on respect for all people. A culture that engages people with leaders going to the Gemba. Gemba is the workplace where the work gets done, seeing the actual situation, understanding the goals of the company, and bringing the organization to operational excellence. Making it visible, observation, what's really going on. When you're working with a process, sit down and do it with the people that are actually experiencing it. You'll see it from a much different perspective. Real improvement only can take place when there is a frontline focus based on direct observation of a current condition where the work is done. There are 5 principles of Lean. And as you can see, they're arranged in a circle, just the way the PDSA, or the Plan, Do, Study, Act scientific method model is arranged. So you could basically overlay these 2 models on top of each other, and they work very well together. The first principle of Lean is define value. The critical starting point for Lean is thinking is value, which can only be defined by the customer. So the customer, you've got to listen to your customer. I find many times when I'm helping people with projects that they haven't actually talked to their customer about what the customer's values are, what problems they're trying to solve, and what their needs are. So don't forget that piece, and you'll get a chance to practice. The second step is to map the value stream. Look at the production process that you go through to create that product or that service. Are all the steps that are in that process adding value to your customer? If not, you have some opportunities to eliminate some waste. Once you've eliminated waste, now you can improve the flow of your process. One of the goals of Lean is to reduce lead time. So we want to take all the non-value added out of that process as possible and make our processes flow better. Once we've created flow, Now we can get to only making something when the customer actually orders it, or making to customer demand. And that is what we call enabling pull. And our fifth principle is to seek perfection. So we're always continuously improving, always revisiting the customer's needs and how we're meeting those needs, measuring our capabilities against our customer, what we're delivering to our customer. The 5 principles of Lean. There are 4 goals of Lean. We want to improve quality. We want to free up resources. We want to reduce lead times, and we want to reduce our total costs. I think you're probably starting to get the picture. The first goal is to improve quality. Quality is defined by the customer. So we need to understand what the customer's expectations are, and then we need to ensure that our processes are capable of meeting those requirements. We need to establish performance metrics to monitor our effectiveness. We want to free up resources or eliminate waste. If you had a perfect operation, you wouldn't have any waste in it. Products and services would flow to your customers perfectly. There would be 0 product or service defects or inventory in your process. Learning to see the 8 ways can be very revealing, and we'll be looking at the 8 ways here in some of the coming modules. Actually, in processes that have not been improved, it has been found over the years across all industries that only about 5% of the activity that's going on is actually adding value to the customer. Now, I know this sounds a little bizarre, but it is very true. There's a 95% opportunity here. And I was working with, actually, the EIB team went through continuous improvement training, and they were working on some projects. And they mapped out their value stream, and when they recorded the value-added activities versus the non-value-added activities, they came up with 7% value added. So that's pretty close to 5%. Even if we're off by a couple of percent, there's a big opportunity to make changes and free up resources. These are the 8 ways. We won't dive deep into these today, as we'll be doing that in future modules, but I did want to introduce them to you. Whenever we're transporting something, we are not changing its form or function. It is also subject to damage, possibly. Takes time, takes money to transport things. Inventory. When we have inventory, we are tying up cash, we are taking up space, we are taking up management time. Motion. When we are spending a lot of time moving materials around, moving people, moving information, that takes time that could be used to produce value. Waiting. If you see material waiting in between steps, those are opportunities. Why is that material waiting? What can we do to flow it directly to the next step without any wait time in between? Overproduction. If we're making more than what our customer asked, we actually have incorporated all of these other types of waste into overproduction. We have to find space for it. It may expire. Our customer may never order it. There are lots of problems with overproducing product. Overprocessing. When we have defects in our process, we have to rework them. That's called overprocessing. Are there steps in our process that aren't necessary? Maybe we've kept an inspection step that we no longer need, but we haven't eliminated it. Do we have defects? Products or services that are not meeting the customer's need. When we produce a defect, we have put all of our cost and effort into making that product, only to create a product that is worthless, that absorbed all of those resources. And unutilized talent. Generally, we have people involved in all of our processes. If they are spending their time dealing with non-value added activities and the 8 wastes, we are not utilizing their brain capacity to add value to our organization. The third goal is to reduce lead time. And lead time is defined as from the time you receive an order from a customer until you deliver it. Lead time is made up of cycle time, batch delay time, and process delay time. So one of our goals in Lean is to reduce the lead time, or the amount of time that it takes us from the time the customer orders until we're able to deliver. We want to reduce overall total costs. We want to spend our money wisely, and we want to produce only to customer demand. Everybody has limited resources, and we want to use these resources to produce what the customer needs. We also have metrics in our Lean improvement methodology. Metrics come in several different categories: safety, quality, cost, delivery, and morale. You may not necessarily have all of these metrics in your process, but you'll have 2 or 3 of them. And we want you to measure the baseline metrics and then establish a goal for that metric and continually to measure that to see how much you are improving or if you're sustaining your improvement. So in summary, Lean is a way of thinking. Lean is an organizational growth strategy based on satisfying the customer by delivering quality products and services that are just what the customer needs, when the customer needs them, in the amount required, at the right price, while using minimum inputs. Lean frees up resources. Lean means less of many things: less waste, shorter cycle times, fewer suppliers, less bureaucracy. Lean also means more employee knowledge and empowerment, more organizational agility and capability, more productivity, more satisfied customers, and more long-term success. Lean is a continuous evolutionary process of change and adaptation. Lean is a 5-step process. Define value, map the value stream, create flow, enable pull, and seek perfection. Lean is continuous improvement. Here are some examples of some benefits that you'll get by using the Lean methodology. I have experienced all of these. Some of these you might think are kind of high, 90% reduction in product lead time. It's possible, but because remember, 95% of what we're doing in our process is non-value added. So the first time that you look at our process and make improvements, it is very likely that you'll be able to improve a number of things by at least 50%. I have a few of my own continuous improvement guidelines that I'd just like to share with you that I've learned over the years. Then some of these will probably make more sense to you as you go through the course. We want to create flexibility, which when we're working on facility design and laying out processes, that means wide open spaces. So I always say, no walls, no hallways, no doors. We always want to be open to change. We want to be willing to experiment and give an idea a fair shot. Just because an idea might have come up a few years ago and maybe you tried it and it didn't work, that doesn't mean it won't work now. Things have changed. People have changed. Maybe an idea can work. All ideas are good. Some are just not refined and developed. So if someone has an idea, it may need just to have more team input into making it an idea that's viable. The people doing the work are the best ones to figure out how to do it better. Go to where the people are doing the work. Sit down with people. Document their processes. Look for waste. Show them what you're seeing. Never automate a bad process. A lot of times we look for automation to solve our problems. If we automate a bad process, we are probably going to have that bad process forever. And it's very difficult to to change that automation once it's in place. So my rule of thumb is to look at a process at least 5 times and make improvements before you ever even think about automating it. Automation is also very expensive. Observe and do the work you are asking to be improved. Everyone deserves respect. All of the jobs that we have are important, and the tasks that people are doing are important. We created those jobs. We created those tasks for a reason. Now, maybe our business has changed. Maybe things are different and we haven't updated and changed things. Maybe things need to be reorganized. We just have a lot of waste that we build into our process. But no matter what that is, whoever is doing that, the work that is going to be changed deserves everyone's respect. And trust the process. It does work. See you in the next module.